Three Visions for India by Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam was known as the father of India's missile program. This missile man of India went on to become the 11th president of our country from 2002 to 2007. He was born on the 15th of October at Rameshwaram in the year 1931 and passed away on the 27th of July 2015 while delivering a speech in Shillong. The awards conferred upon him: the Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, and many more. Let us take a quick look into the life of this author before we go through the lesson. He was the youngest of the 5 children born to a Muslim boat owner. He grew up in humble surroundings and went on to study aerospace engineering in Madras. His initial dream was to become a fighter pilot, but he failed to qualify for the Indian Air Force. Some more facts coming up. He started working at the Defense Research and Development Organization as a scientist, and he later transferred himself to the Indian Space Research Organization. He was appointed as the chief scientific advisor to the Prime Minister, and he played a key role in the Pokhran nuclear tests. He was the first scientist to occupy the Rashtrapati Bhavan as president. Some of his inspirational quotes: education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Success is when your signature changes to autograph. We can read this a little later. He contributed to literature, philosophy, and life by writing a few books: Wings of Fire, his autobiography; Ignited Minds, You Are Unique, Governance for Growth in India, Target 3 Billion, Learning How to Fly is a special book written for the youth. Unit 1. This missile scientist offers 3 visions for India: freedom, development, and standing up in order to develop India to its fullest potential. Freedom, his first vision. If we are not free, no one will respect us, so says Abdul Kalam. He gives us a brief glimpse of what India's past has been during the last 3,000 years. We were invaded by many countries and communities, and we were looted and all our wealth was taken away. But he urges us today to value freedom and preserve it. Some vocabulary on your screen: noun forms and adjective forms. The second vision, development. As a scientist, he contributed greatly to India's missile development programs, space exploration, atomic energy, and in many other ways. He wanted the youth of India to do the same and make India a fully developed nation. His third vision, standing up. India must stand up to the world. Abdul Kalam spells out his third vision that every Indian ought to stand up boldly before the world in military and economic strength. Unit 3, page 41. Kalam wants us to recognize our strengths and our achievements. We are a great nation. We are the second largest producer of wheat and rice, and we are the first in milk production. These are our success stories. Take a look at Dr. Sudarshan. He was an Indian social worker and a tribal rights activist. He transferred the tribal village into a self-sustaining, self-driving unit. There are millions of success stories of this kind, but he says that our media is obsessed only with bad news and failures. He goes on to relate an incident that took place at Tel Aviv in Israel. At that time, there was so much of unrest and attacks and bombardments, but their newspaper headlines portrayed a success story of a Jewish gentleman who transferred and transformed his desert land into an orchid farm and granary. Kalam goes on to tell us that our media could be negative. There are millions of success stories and achievements that could be highlighted in our news in order to motivate the youth of our country. Self-respect and self-reliance. What is that? Kalam had the opportunity to meet a 14-year-old girl when he was in Hyderabad giving a lecture. He asked her this question, "What is your goal in life?" And she replied, "I want to live in a developed India." This answer impressed Abdul Kalam. He wants us to live in a developed country by being self-reliant. So he tells us to give up the obsession of foreign things and develop self-respect. With this, let us look at Dr. Kalam's message in the whole lesson. He says, if our country is to be brought out of the shackles of slow rate of development, scientific and technological impasse, and of course corruption, the youth force is required. It was this self-effacing and dedicated youth force that led our country out of the darkness of social slavery and corruption during the reign of colonialism. Unless the youth take responsibility in raising their voice against corruption and rampant ills, they are not going to be overcome. So children, what is your vision for your future? And how do you plan to pursue this vision and make your dreams come true? Think about it. As Abdul Kalam tells us, get up, stand up, and don't give up the fight.